Hey everyone, welcome back to Low Luxury, and welcome back to a new episode of LOWluxury Grails, the series where I show you some of the coolest pieces out there, take a look at the history behind them, take a look at some of the important details, and at the end, try and put a fit together with them. So, the piece we're focusing on today is this incredible pair of Guccissima duck boots. They're crazy rain boot, duck boot, combat boot things with the GG monogram all over them. They are incredible, so let's learn a bit more about what made these shoes happen. Oh, and hey, before I forget, subscribe to my channel. If you're into this video, you'll probably be into a bunch of my other ones, so get into it. The big thing I want to talk about today is the GG monogram that's so synonymous with the brand, especially coming out of the past few recent logo mania years. To talk about Gucci logos, we're going to need to go back to the beginning. Gucci was founded in 1921, and early on, the logos, if you can even call them that, were pretty utilitarian. It was only 12 years later, though, in 1933, that they began using the all-caps Gucci logo that we know today. In the beginning, it was all about trunks and luggage, but by the end of the 30s, Gucci had expanded to footwear and accessories. Of course, as a luxury brand, all of this stuff was made out of leather, but when the Second World War came around, suddenly leather was not so easy to get your hands on. The alternative was canvas, and while the canvas that Gucci used at the time didn't have a logo, it did have a clear diamond pattern, which birthed the Gucci Diamante design. But to talk about the GG monogram, we've got to jump ahead a bit to the 1960s. That's right. Free love, acid, Vietnam. You know, when I was first getting into Gucci, I assumed they used the two G's for the monogram because it looked good. But it turns out it's the initials of the brand's founder, Guccio Gucci. The sign was actually created by one of his sons, Aldo, which is pretty sweet when you really think about it. So this was 1960, and the first monogram was the crossed GG. As time went on, it got interpreted in many ways, opposing each other, put into a circle, turned inside out, and so on. At the time, these monograms were mostly used as metal buckles on the brand's bags. Now, here's where that knowledge about the Diamante canvas comes in handy, because in the mid-60s, the brand decided to spice up their canvas pieces by taking that diamond pattern and merging it with the monogram. And that's how the famous Gucci monogram coated canvas was born. I don't know about you, but I think when most people think of the monogram now, they think of this pattern. The brand's current creative director, Alessandro Michele, is a huge fan of the design, putting it not just on bags, but on footwear, apparel, and everything in between. Anyway, that canvas monogram was so instantly popular that the brand had to expand it. The thing about canvas is, it's cheap. Even Gucci can't charge too much for it. Leather is where the real margins are, so it wasn't a hard decision to start pressing the GG pattern directly into leather goods. That pattern is called the Guccissima, which is where these boots finally come in. The boots hail from the Fall-Winter 2011 season, when the brand was headed up by creative director Frida Giannini. In retrospect, this era of the brand is sometimes considered a bit of a low point, and I generally agree. Frida took over in 2006 when Tom Ford left the brand. Frida's tenure at the house often took the more boring aspects of Ford's vision, in my opinion. Collections often fell flat, even though they were still very luxe. Of course, there were still bright spots, and these boots are a big exception. Giannini's Gucci was often understated, but these boots are purely maximalist, to the point where they almost don't fit in the Gucci of the time. However, that makes sense. Oftentimes, footwear is not as important to a brand's creative director as clothes. A famous example these days is Versace, where the creative director is Donatella Versace, but it's Salehe Bembury who heads up the shoes. Therefore, even if the clothes fall flat, the shoes still have potential to shine. And thus, we're given a gloriously over-the-top pair of Gucci shoes. They also made them in a more understated brown, but the black ones are a clear winner. The Guccissima pattern shines in pressed black leather, and a chunky rubber sole gives it a striking silhouette. The duck boot rubber vamp draws the eyes almost as much as the GG pattern itself. And there's more than enough other points of branding to make the shoes stand out in a crowd. So I love everything about these shoes. Like, they're so crazy, look at them. So obviously this is leather up here, this piece, and then it comes down, and even this is leather here as well. It's just not pressed with that GG monogram. And then down here you've got some nice matte black rubber. Coming around the back you have a harder piece of leather, and you can see how that kind of juts out there. And you've got also a really nice kind of crossed strap pattern there in the back. And a nice little leather pull tab right there. Another piece that I really like about these is how you've got the GGs going sideways down the sides, but then under the laces, you've got it going the right way. Of course, that insert has the Gucci logo pressed into it there. And one of my favorite details on real Gucci shoes, first of all, that insert also has the GG Guccissima pattern pressed into it. And even that insole, as you can see underneath the insert, also has the GG all over it. I would say that they fit a little big though, and that has been my experience with most, but not all, Gucci footwear. Now that we've checked everything out, I think it's time to try and put together a fit wearing these boots.
1 hour later.
Now this one I had some fun with because we really get to go kind of halfway between streetwear and formal wear or office wear. So with these boots, I'm kind of imagining a scenario where it's raining out, trying to get to the office, something like that. So first up, for the pants, I decided to go with a very skinny pair of black All Saints jeans. And the thing that's so great about these is that because they're so tapered, they can tuck right into the boot without any issue or it looking weird or anything, and that really accentuates the shoes, which is what we're looking to do here. And the first part of the top is this black button-down Peter England shirt, and this we're really just using for its collar, so any solidly colored button-down shirt that would fit with the color scheme would be fine here. And I figured since we're talking about the Gucci monogram here, why not go with this classic Gucci logo sweatshirt? Obviously, it's a really striking colorway, a really striking design, and it has this super wide neck, which is why we're using that button down. We're really just trying to accentuate that collar with that neckline. And we're gonna leave that untucked so that it comes out the bottom of the sweatshirt. Now, you might be starting to think that this is looking pretty crazy right now, and honestly, I agree with you, but I think it's this next piece that really pulls it all together and takes it over the top, takes it to the next level. So the final piece, since it is raining out, we're running to get to a meeting, we are going with this beautiful nylon navy blue Bianca Saunders overcoat. Just the movement of this thing is incredible, and I just think it ties this look together so well and gives it another touch of luxury, an extra touch of just that je ne sais quoi that this look needed. So I'm honestly really happy with this one, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. And that's that. Take a look at the other video that's on screen here, subscribe to my channel, that would help me out a lot, like this video, and I'll see you next time.